It is 7 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. If you have not already signed in on the paper, please sign your name when you're going home, just so we have a different column. We're going to start with the agenda. Does anybody have any additions or corrections to the board agenda?
I have both. Scroll through them under open forum. We have added 2 names since the board agenda of the public. On the consent agenda, we have two names or a name in each one not included, so that's been fixed in the minutes for both April school board meeting. Under employment and resignations, we had an addition today. Jonathan Horbach, professional development curriculum director, is affiliated with golf meets, so that report will be only. We had some communications that just came to the school board. The Quebec police, I had updates and dates, so that's now updated for the board. We had an addition to Jaguar Pride. I think that's all.
All right, if there's no other questions, I'm looking for a motion to approve the agenda. There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Next up is open forum. Rules for open forum. There are 3 minutes per speaker. Open forum shall not take more than a total of 15 minutes. No complaints about individual staff members, students, or other persons are permitted. All presenters will conduct their business in a manner that meets community standards or decorum. The board will not take action if presented in an open forum. There are 5 individuals that are wishing to speak. All that we ask is that you state your name when you come up to the podium, please.
Good evening. You already know me. I'm Elizabeth Ekstrom. I teach high school social studies, including the Ojibwe Culture 1 and 2 courses. I also advise 3 student groups here. I'm here tonight primarily as an asset to the American Student Association. I'm troubled at the pushback that some of our staff and community have expressed regarding preventing the drum group from graduation. But I'm trying to bring the opposition to the drum group in terms of ignorance. Maybe people just don't know enough, so I just want to clear a few things. First, the is not religious or spiritual. Perhaps a consultation with a cultural expert cleared this misunderstanding weeks ago before the attorney issued their guidance. The traveling song is meant to give to the entire audience who hears it. Other high schools are area incorporate drum group into their ceremonies as well. Duluth East, for example. The translated lyrics to it are, "When you can no longer walk, I will carry you." What a beautiful message of unity to send off our entire country and past with. Having drum group performance at graduation is because the Native American students already I would like to remind or perhaps inform our board that this is sponsored by the Black and Ojibwe District 3 and the American Indian Department set for county high schools using funds from each district's Indian education program. Although many HFHS staff are invited to attend to support the graduates, HFHS is not a sponsor of the dinner. Additionally, the Native American Graduate Dinner is not graduation. There is no recognition of scholastic achievement, and diplomas are not given out. But it's not that we have to remember that only that summer. because really all events lead up to graduation as the pinnacle of their high school achievements, and they deserve to have a culture. Thirdly, I hope to reflect on the school model, which is where every student is known, valued, and challenged to succeed. I love this model so much, and it's one of the reasons I chose this district almost 7 years ago to the day. But truly, I believe that if a drum group is not permitted to perform at the ceremony, that there should be a work group formed immediately to determine a new model, because this model clearly isn't being lived up to. Lastly, I would like the board to remember the positive impact that cultural involvement has on our students' education. This was actually the study of my master's thesis, the impact of cultural response and pedagogy for Native American students. I know I'm there to talk. Later in this meeting, you will see the graduation data in the past year. You will see that statewide, the average graduation rate for Native American students is 61%. But here at HFHS, our graduation rate for this population is 78%. I don't think that's rate is 100%, but even this progress did not happen by accident. One crucial aspect that made this graduation rate possible was the incorporation of culture into our school through NASA, the Ojibwe culture classes, and the introduction of drum group last year. Sure, cultural opportunities are an asset to our school, and drum group should be included in graduation, culminating event in 13 years of hard work. Thank you.
Hello. Bonjour and good evening, everybody. My name is Hinckley-Finlayson, and I'm a senior here, graduating with the class of 2024 at Hinckley-Finlayson High School. As recently, we know there's been a heated debate within the school board staff and teachers regarding permitting our school from graduation to sing the traveling song. As of now, we know they decided they will not allow the drum at graduation this year. Last year, for the class of 2023's graduation, the drum was invited by the school to sing for the students. So this makes me wonder, what's the big deal about this year? This is obviously very important to me since it may even seem biased, I'm a graduating Native American senior and 2024 Native American Student Association NASA officer. I would like to bring to your attention the issue of racism towards Native Americans at our school, particularly in regards to our singing at graduation. Singing on the drum is an important cultural tradition in the American communities and it holds significant meaning and significance for us. By disallowing or discriminating against our school drums at the graduation ceremony, we're not only being denied the opportunity to showcase our culture and celebrate and honor our Native students, but we are also being subjected to racism and discrimination. These responses from the school board that the song is just one of them. What about the separation of church and state are flat out? Separation of church and state is a legal and constitutional principle that prohibits the government from favoring and endorsing any particular religion. It ensures that the government remains neutral in religious matters and does not interfere with individuals' freedom to practice their own beliefs. Native American cultures and traditions, including ceremonies, rituals, and practices, are considered cultural expressions rather than strictly religious activities. This distinction is very important when considering the inclusion of Native American traditions in public settings or institutions, such as schools or government. As long as the inclusion of Native American cultural practices does not promote or endorse a specific religious belief, it does not violate the principle of separation of church and state. In fact, recognizing and honoring Native American culture can be seen as a form of cultural diversity and inclusion, which aligns with the principles of equality and impartiality. For students, we know graduation is a monumental milestone that signifies the culmination of years of hard work, dedication, and growth. It is a symbol of achievement and success, marking a transition from one chapter of their lives onto the next. Graduation represents the fulfillment of dreams and aspirations as well as new opportunities and possibilities. For students, graduation is a momentous occasion that is filled with pride and excitement and anticipation for what is to come in the future. It is a time to celebrate accomplishments and reflect on the journey and look ahead to the next chapter in their lives. While teachers and staff play an important role in supporting and guiding students along the way. Graduation is ultimately a celebration of the students' achievements, growth, and potential. I would also like to note our songs of honor do not serve as natives alone. We are speaking for everyone in this case of student achievements. I now urge the school board to educate themselves and the school community about American culture, traditions, and history. It is important that we create a more inclusive and respectful environment for all cultures. Our values is celebrated. I would be happy to work with the school board to provide resources and information about Native American culture and traditions, and to help facilitate a better understanding and appreciation for our traditions if we need to do so. I hope that we can work together to address and resolve these issues of racism and discrimination at our school and create a more welcoming and inclusive environment for all students of future generations. English is valued. Thank you for listening. That's all I have to say.
Bonjour, everyone. In the Magana, who and Yashkas, Mary Davis, and Lou, Brigadier Lula, Ashki, and Dujaba, Napa, Andrews, and Lou. Many of you don't know me. My name is Mary Davis. I'm a education teacher here at Hinckley-Finlayson High School. I'm also the other school advisor of the Native American Student Association. I'm speaking to you all today as an asset advisor, the only licensed Native American teacher here on staff at Hinckley-Finlayson School District. And here at Basic and Golden Swap, two sons in the school district. I want to start off by acknowledging that Hinckley-Finlayson School District is occupying land that was ceded in a treaty with the United States government in 1837. We are proud. For many of you may not know much of anything about Native American culture. I'm here to tell you that involving the drum group in the culmination of high school graduation is one of the most intentional and impactful ways that the drum group can honor the graduating students, all students, not just Native American ones. As you have heard, the songs are sung to honor the graduates with a message of love, wishes, safety, and may good things come to them as they move into the next chapter and work for their life. Who would want to have that message included at the graduation ceremony? The Hinckley-Finlayson School motto is that it is a place where every student is known, valued, and challenged to succeed. The long-term strategic plan of the district's education effectiveness practices are supposed to be anti-racist and culturally sustaining and ensure learning and work environments validate, affirm, embrace, and integrate cultural and community strengths for all students, families, and employees. The rich diversity in our community should be seen as an asset, not as a problem needing a solution. The Minnesota Education has the following guidance. Indian education for all aims to integrate the rich cultural, historical, and contemporary contributions of the Anishinaabe and Dakota people into the K-12 curriculum of all Minnesota schools, ensuring all students learn about local Indigenous communities throughout their education. The required academic standards include the contribution of Minnesota's tribal nations and urban Indigenous communities within Minnesota. This is intended for all students in Minnesota, along with their teachers and school administrators, to develop an empowering educational experience for all students. It seeks to disrupt the cycle of ignorance perpetuated by national education and to reclaim the narrative of Indigenous history and contemporary American Indian people. To me, having a national group say is in fact the definition of Indigenous education for all. I urge board members to allow the Native American Student Association to drum and sing at the graduation commencement ceremony this year and every year going forward, which is valued. Thank you for listening.
I'm Brooke Mayo-Gaboy Gonzalez. As a parent of students at Hinckley-Finlayson High School, a member of the Chippewa Indians of Wisconsin, and a descendant of the last band of Ojibwe, a band of Ojibwe that had and continues to occupy the land we stand upon Since before it was seated in the 1837 treaty agreement, I am deeply invested in ensuring cultural inclusion at our school. When I heard that the school board was removing the traveling song from the high school graduation ceremony, I felt compelled to participate in this discussion. My initial reaction was that this was either a blatantly discriminatory act towards our Indigenous students, or that it was made with a lack of information and education. Both are unacceptable responses for people who are responsible for educating the public. I've heard arguments for removing the songs such as the graduation ceremony needs to be shortened. To this, the song is a few minutes long. What is this to few more? Another that people came only for the drum last year and left after. To this, I say, seat those visitors elsewhere so they can leave without disrupting the ceremony. People come and go at them all the time. And let's just enjoy the positivity of bringing more community members who are historically disenfranchised from the educational system to our events at the school. Another was that we let this group perform that is unfair to other groups who don't let them perform. To this, I must remind everyone present that being Indigenous is not rooted in a purely racial or ethnically derived club of some sort. We are nations that existed here before the United States establishment and continue to exist here with distinct languages, customs, and citizenship responsibilities. We are not an affinity group. Another is that this somehow imposes religious proceedings on the students in a public forum. To this, I say, the traveling song is a custom of the Ojibwe people, which embodies the best wishes for all in attendance to be safe and productive as they move to the next part of their journey. This is not religious or even exclusive. The song is for all graduates and represents our community's hope that everyone completing this phase of their lives will move forward positively. There is a choice to be made today. As in 1905, when the British royal coronation song, we know as Pomp and Circumstance, became an American graduation tradition. The lyrics of which, by the way, contain the line, God, who made thee mighty, make thee mightier yet. We can decide now what is included in our collective ceremonies, like graduations, with a complete understanding of their meaning. Now you know what the Ojibwe traveling song means. Today is a day to say to these students who are standing in defiance of the Minnesota state statistics that reflect that 63% of American Indian students graduate, that we see them. We appreciate all the work it took on behalf of this entire community to get them to this point. And we have only the best wishes for all of these young people as they move forward. That's the message we should be giving to them. And when we prevent them from expressing and even acknowledging their culture, it means we're telling them we don't see them here. And it makes us not want to be here, and that's why you end up with graduation rates. It can end today with a very simple act, like one, where you bring the drum in and let them sing. Anyway.
Hello, Hinckley-Finlayson school board members. My name is Harry Davis, District 3, representative of the Max Valley Ojibwe. Been in this position for many years. Thank you for allowing me to speak here this evening. I am honored to represent our youth here in District 3. Reason I was asked to give the support for our American students. Along with my support, I would like to ask that this school board allow our students to have a small group of tribal members sing an honor song, not only for our tribal students, but for all the students who are graduating here this year. We are not only asking for your support, but we grow together as a group together. We ask for your compassion, no longer be separate. We're all neighbors here. We continue to learn our different ways and cultures. I say let's advance our communities and live in harmony. Thank you for this.
Thank you, everybody, for speaking. Next up on the agenda is our consent agenda. Does anyone need anything pulled from the consent agenda and placed later in the agenda for further discussion? If not, I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Next up is the bills. If you have any questions regarding the bills, please state the page number and the bill number. Are there any questions on the bills? If there's no questions, I'm looking for a motion to approve the bills. There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Next up is reports. Superintendent report.
Thank you. Just an update on some upcoming meetings that are coming for myself and upcoming meetings for school board committees. This morning we had a PD committee meeting added, so that's on there. All board members are invited to the end of the year breakfast. It's set to be June 3rd at 7:15 in the morning. It's a great way to recognize some good achievements for the school year and bring the whole staff and school board together to say goodbye before we hit summer vacation. This past week, we had our senior awards banquets. The school board members were able to come and attend and recognize our good accomplishments of our seniors. And then just the last update that I guess I want to talk about, we're heading to the June school board meeting. The team's working on finalizing our staff to meet our budget. We heard at the April work session, and I'm just kind of seeking clarity on this, that there may be some more flexibility into building a budget that comes in a little bit under the 25% fund balance policy. That's at least the impression that I received after the work session. Just wanted to see if the board wanted to have any more conversation on that, as I hope to be able to present a budget at our June school board meeting. But if I have misinterpreted, I'd like to know that sooner so that we can keep working to hit our goals. And I just put our fund balance policy in there for reference, which it does say that we we will strive to hit 25% fund balance, and then the board would direct the superintendent to make cuts if we got down to 15%. But I just wanted to see if there's any discussion on that before the admin team makes the final budget in the next 2 weeks.
Could you also provide a version that does provide 25% fund balance reserve?
Provide both.
If you could, just so we have maybe a couple of versions of the budget, one that's preserving a 25% fund balance, and then the other version that maybe gives him that fund balance. Thank you.
There, I want that budget to look like.
Thank you, Brian. Next up is the school principal report.
Good evening. First up on the agenda is just a hiring update. We are currently looking for 2 ECE teachers. One is due to a teacher that's moving, as well as we're going to be adding another position due to increased enrollment in that area. We're also looking for 1 SLP math teacher, and as well as a teacher for the Hinckley transition program, and then also a teacher for math, as we have 1 teacher resigns as I wrote out my report. So that's where we are with the hiring update. We'll continue to have more updates as we go forward. Just some important dates for seniors. Friday is graduation practice beginning at 8:20. All graduates are required to be at practice in order to walk at graduation. Caps and gowns will be followed in the morning. There'll be a barbecue in the afternoon. Graduation starts at 7 p.m. at the high school. Today we have our 7th grade orientation. We had the 6th graders come over, and you can see it, the attached schedule today. We met them in the Fine Arts Center and went over just some basic things about the high school. They got a tour of the building, going over the different areas. They got to come back and hear the band and the choir sing, and then meet with the different departments, looking at extracurricular activities that they can sign up for next year. So it was a really fun day to have them in the high school and get them ready for next year. Also, summer band, summer marching band, and summer lessons will be planned again this year with Ms. Shashinsky. They'll be Monday through Thursday, half-hour time slots between 9 and 3. Families can choose whatever time works for them. So she will be doing that again this year. The last thing before I turn it over to our senior board members is a discussion and action item on our J Crew proposal. Our junior high MTSS team, which consists of Jay Krieger, Tom Linden, Sam Faber, Elsa Cole, Caitlin Anderson, Valerie Greenwald, Jonathan Borbach, Janet Reek, and myself. We've been meeting a lot throughout the school year, really looking at our data around our middle school students and what we can do to help decrease behaviors and help increase student achievement, as well as feeling of belonging. And so the team has really spent a lot of time this year looking at what we can do differently next year. And I shared a few things with you. This year we're looking at moving classrooms around to create more of a middle school within the high school, and keeping our 7th and 8th graders on 2 floors so that they're not running around having so much freedom within the building. Looking at doing some type of a smaller handbook where we have expectations for our junior high students that fit within our big high school expectations, and we'll bring that to you this summer. But the purpose of the J Crew Day, and Mr. Faber was hoping to be here tonight to speak, but he just wrote something that I wanted to share with you from him, is the J Crew Day is aimed at building relationships between students and staff in our 7th through 9th grade. I pulled our data today, and our 7th, 8th, and 9th graders referral data accounts for 80% of all of our referrals. We have 109 in 7th grade, 234 in 8th, 184 in 9th, 98 in 10th, 80 in 11th, and 16 in 12th grade. So again, that 7th through 9th grade accounts for the majority of our referrals this school year. And so one of the big things that research says is that relationships is one of the most important tools that we can have and reducing behavior referrals. This day is really meant to immerse kids in building relationships with all of our staff, not just their teachers in their classes, but having a day where all staff spend time to build relationships and to make them feel that sense of belonging. So during that day, 7th and 8th grade students will be given lessons, so they'll track instead of going from class to class, they'll go from station to station, and talk about the different things, how to take care of your Chromebook, cell phone policies, how to work in partners. Our math curriculum really focuses on group work, and so spending time talking about how to work in groups and doing different things like that around the handbook, going over procedures, class to class, and in your lab, those things that can really stress out students on the first day. And then with our 9th graders, really focusing on our graduation requirements as well, and how to make sure that they're earning their credits and not getting behind from day one. So having just those students in the building, really focusing on that first day where all staff are participating, and it's not just their teachers. And then on our second day of school being our first day with everyone, then they're focusing more on classroom type of things, what's happening in each individual classroom. But that first day for 7th and 9th through 9th grade would be focusing on building relationships and that sense of belonging in our building and making it really feel like a home. So that's the purpose of that day. And so today I'm just asking for approval to go forward with it. Do I have any questions?
Between the kids.
I would, I took this to meeting members and had a lot of positive feedback about it. However, my one concern is that this does affect the meeting for those 10 to 12 years starting. So they personally would like to request the table the vote until we can put out a survey and get feedback from the community for those 10 years.
So we asked customers, last year, currently this year, my 12 years. Those students are going to be 10th graders next year, which would miss the first day of school. They scored 22%, meeting the state standards, 22% of the state standards for math, 34% of the state standards for reading, 21% of the state standards for science. Are you proud of those numbers?
Something that we're continuing to work on. We want our students to be, we really feel like that sense of belonging so that they're invested in our building and in our school and in our teachers will help that achievement exponentially by taking more time to do those things so that the academics then can be a focus after that.
I think we can build relationships, find ways to build relationships and have positive relationships between students and staff without sacrificing class time and student-teacher class time. I feel like we're not challenging our students by allowing the class time to take the first day off. And I think we can do better. If we look at really great school districts, in Pine City, they're at 22% for math. Next year's 10th graders in Pine City are 39%, whereas next year's 10th graders are 44%. If you look at reading, our neighboring school districts, Pine City, their 10th graders are 45% behind 34% reading, and then more, 6%, so we're our neighboring school districts. Why? Because our competition. And parents can choose to send their students to neighboring school districts because they want to get the best education for their students. If we look at science, our next year's 10th graders are at 21% for meeting state standards. Pine City's at 32%. And Morris at 23%. So again, competition. I just feel like we cannot afford to sacrifice the first day of school. Would you be opposed to maybe allowing this special day to take place the day before the first day of school? Let the students come in first, one day prior to the start of school, so we're not sacrificing sacrifice a school day, a learning day, to build relationships, you know, do all those good things that you mentioned.
We talked about that, but with not having it be on with an actual school day that's required, we don't get all students, and we really want to make sure that all students are there. And so that's the reason by having it on that first day of school versus during orientation when we don't have all of our kids.
Okay, that's a valid point, but I still feel like a sacrifice to teacher in class time. I'm also concerned that we're already getting 1 hour every day on every single Wednesday. There's like 37 Wednesdays throughout the school year. And if each school day is approximately 7 hours, we're sacrificing 5 days of school, which is a week of school just for early release on Wednesdays. And I'm not happy with these test scores for next year's 10th graders. And I don't want to make excuses to get these kids in class. I want to see more student teacher. I don't want to get those test scores higher. And I'm also concerned about playing games on the first day of school for 7th, 8th, and 9th graders. These are not elementary children. These are young adults who are playing games on the first day of school. I think we need to teach them that you don't come to school to play games. You come to school to learn and put your thinking hat on and become a valuable contribution to our society and be, you know, good upper class. And that's, thank you for your time and listening to my comments.
Can you go over the behavior numbers again?
Yep. So 7th grade has 409 referrals, 8th grade 234,
9th grade, 184, 10th grade, 89, 11th grade, 80, and 12th grade, 16. So it's about 80% of the total referrals are percent.
I think it's worth a shot. Like if we have this kind of numbers. I think we need to try something different to get those behavior different. I get what you're saying, one day is going to make or break this.
Does anybody else wish to speak?
One other comment I would like to make too is, can we make phone calls to those families who are choosing to take their students out of our school district because our school,
Right now, we were talking about this though. We're talking about the J.
but you know, parents, they want to send their students to the school district where they're going to get the best education. And I feel like sending the right message to parents that they're going to get the best education by telling them, you don't have to come to school on the first day. Parents are going to think, what kind of school district does this? My question is there any other school district that does this?
Yeah.
Kim, do you have that data?
So this is what Jan pulled for me. Various schools that have a crew, they might not necessarily have it's on the first day, they might do some kind of bringing kids in a day earlier, things like that we talked about. But the schools that she pulled for me were Pine City, Cambridge, Santee, North Branch, the Summit, Rush City, Forest, they all have a middle school big crew type of a day. Other schools with similar population size to ours that are 7 through 12. There's some other schools around the area that's doing something similar. A lot of schools are moving to having 7th graders or just when they transition to that next grade and just those kids on the very first day. Cities do that to kind of get them acclimated to the school, just having such a day. They do mainly just the incoming grade, but we wanted to do 7th, 8th, and 9th versus just our 7th graders.
Schools don't have to come in on the first day.
She did pull back for me, but I can definitely get that for you. I'll get that by Friday, and I'll bring some of that to you.
Have a middle school. Like we don't have a true middle school. So we're trying to get them
Right.
in here and establish those rules early on.
All right, so I'm looking for a motion to approve the J group that Ms. Hinckley has proposed. There's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? We'll do roll call. Leo?
Yes.
Heather?
Dave.
Dave? Toby? Jenna? Angela? Jody, yes. Motion passes.
And last up for my report is I'd like to thank our amazing seniors for their dedication to joining our school board this year. You've done an amazing job, and we're so thankful for your humor and all the stuff you've shared with us this year. So with that, I'll turn it over to your last official report as seniors. Thank you.
As you know, my name is Hannah Hartle, and I'm one of the 3 student representatives. Today, I'll be talking about softball and the senior banquet that we had last Wednesday for scholarships and awards. So for softball this year, I believe we are 15-4. We just had a game tonight, and we did not win, but that's okay because we still have 3-1. So we have that. And it's going pretty good this season so far. We're all like having a great time, and this team gets along really well, and we have a great connection and teamwork with each other. And playoffs are right around the corner, so that's exciting. It's going to close real fast. It's also senior night. So. And then the senior banquet, I was shocked. I'm sure others were too, how generous of a community we have been for us to get all of these scholarships and how much time and effort that's put into each scholarship and everything. I had a great time at the banquet. The food was really good. And yeah, that's all I have to say today.
I'm Beckett, and I'm going to talk about baseball and then prom. Baseball is 5-11 on the season, and they have 3 games this week against Crosby, Moose Lake, and then East Central. Hopefully they can win them. And then we had, that's April, and that was fun. Yeah.
My name is Matthew, and I'm going to talk about track and our schools of track. They are having a very successful season so far. I just had their GRC relays meet last week with all the teams in our conference. And the boys team got second, and the girls team fourth. And yeah, there was some pretty good scores all around. And for Mark's speech has ended. It ended about a month ago, and our whole team went to state, which was really cool. And it was very impressive. And we have a band concert and choir concert next Monday at 7 in the FAC, so pop out to that. And for school, seniors are near the end. We have, 9 days left. We're looking forward to it, and we get to go to Valley Fair next week. Yearbook signing is Friday. We a good next 2 weeks.
Thank you for having us in this point this year.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you, school board members, or student school board members. And now Mrs. Sculler.
Good, also team answers.
That's good effort.
First, I'm going to cover using experience. I already have the same thing. I'll start out with, we have, knock on wood, no positions right now to fill an HES for happiness. First time in a long time. We have all of our staff recruited. We had a couple, we decreased a couple class sizes, so we have no openings. We do have a long-term sub that we're looking for 2nd grade as one of our teachers will be out on maternity leave as the school year starts. Lots of applicants coming in for that soon.
with the division in some of our classrooms, we are, as you know, we're busting at the seams right now, but we are gaining back our STEM room, and we are opening up one of our rooms for after-school forestry school here. The one thing we don't have, and I continue to search for space, which I can't find any, is for a media center. We still don't have a media center in elementary school, and that is a true one, so. We'll continue to be creative and find, hopefully find a space for that. As Hanky mentioned, our seventh graders came over for orientation today, and just watching their eyes as they come over, it is a huge change. So I really value the opportunity that they will get to build those relationships with their teachers. It is a whole new ballgame. There's so many different things that are going on in this school versus at the elementary level. And I think those relationships that are going to be built with their teachers are extremely important. So I'm thankful that you are going that route. We celebrated our on last Friday. They graduated as well as their spring program they put on, and we will be holding kindergarten graduation down in Hinckley on the 29th. Busy time of the year at the elementary school. We have field days, we have field trips. Everybody's doing something, it seems like all the time. We have fourth quarter reporting coming up on the 30th, sixth grade graduation on the 31st. Crossing guards and captains will be headed to Fun Lab tomorrow. Fourth grade crossing guards will be done. Following day, everything's going on. We will have our spring program at Hinckley here on Friday, so if you're looking for something to do, come on over to support our young singers. The last thing I have is I have looked into, I don't know where here, so I have talked to the same company, Healthy Kids, that will be running our after school year program down here. They are willing to run that in Finlayson for the meantime. We can stop working with them at any time, so if we were to apply for daycare and things aren't going well there, they will commit to 1 year if they only have one child. We did a quick survey at the spring program on Friday, and we had at least 4 or 5 possibly interested. So I think at this point, we would be better off pursuing that until something else gets in the works. We can, again, cut ties with them at any time, but at least we have maybe for and after school year, possibly in this. Questions?
And I will probably give her a call tomorrow and just say we're gonna move on.
Yes, I'll call her tomorrow and say, we're going to move forward with the after school year. Just like I said, so yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Speller. Next up is
Thank you. It's been a busy month for community ed, as you can see by the numbers. Youth track camp, youth softball, youth baseball, yoga, drive 55. We had our father-daughter dance. We had approximately 153 that came out for that. And I think I mentioned this before, but I just want to give another shout out to Ms. Ashley Johnson's construction class. She built a series of tees, putty greens, because our theme was, it was a hard tee, T-E-E. And so the dads and or whoever the daughters were brought, the girls brought, we were able to do some putting in the cafeteria, which was really amazing. And we have those, if anybody wants to use those for a party or whatever, we still have them. So, and then as already was mentioned, senior dinner was on the 8th. We had 118 seniors and parents come, and about an additional 35 additional people attended that as well. Listen, very nice evening. We have a WSI class coming up. We've got 8 participants so far, and the number is increasing. Service day class, 16 attended that, and our summer rec information went out last week. So it's been busy. Any questions?
Is there any questions for Becky? Thank you, Becky.
Thank you.
Next up is counseling services.
Just to tap into the community ed, the youth volleyball is sort of partner between the volleyball team and community ed. Yes, Mr. Matterson, like off script. Because like, what do you know? Did you know that Nyla, one of her students, coached our fourth graders?
It was so exciting to see one of our students getting to coach the other kids and their excitement being okay, they found some. Okay, I got it. Okay. Mallory is going to speak about the mental health services and social supports that we need, and I am going to be the cheerleader for classes. We are extremely low in elective options, and I will forever please note in your notes that I will be calling them requirements. Calling them electives seems to imply that they're not important and they're superfluous when we need 7 of them to graduate. So I will be calling them requirements. So if every student in 9th through 12th grade needs 7 credits to graduate, that means almost every year they can take 2 classes. It's like 800 kids needing to be scheduled, and if we keep cutting our electives, then we're going to need to change our graduation requirements. We're on track to have another very large PSEO year, and it is because we don't have classes here. It's not always that it's classes, it's that they want to do something that they're interested in. I understand that we have some of our electives in band and choir that are not full. You cannot pick up a foreign language in the middle of the year. You have to start at the beginning, so if you make that choice to not start at the beginning, okay, those are out for second semester. You can only start at the beginning with Spanish or German 1. Band is very difficult to pick up an instrument. They can, everyone's welcome to come learn an instrument. But again, not everyone is comfortable with the performing aspect. And I would really like to emphasize that we focus more on the classes that apply to the in-demand careers, such as the trades, healthcare, and computer sciences. So please think about that when you have your budget vote next semester. Even as big as the sign up for a teacher is a small price to pay for losing 2 or 3 students. We pay for a lot of that tuition through various contracts. On a positive note, it has been amazing having a behavior support interventionist in the high school. That was Jason Kemper, and I thought he made fabulous relationships right off the bat. And also having the junior high school counselor, I really appreciated it. Really heard me say, I need this help. So thank you again for supporting that for another year, this current school year. Because we are still seeing a lot of mental health needs. A lot of times we are just immediately turning towards 504 special education. I'm not saying it's not needed, it's a legitimate recommendation. And I'm not going to let Mallory speak on this because I want to hear it from a neutral person. She's the only person in our district who handles the 504s. It's a lot of work. Between that and I'm glad we're hiring, or at least trying to hire for another special ed teacher because the amount of 504s and IEPs are through the roof, and just the paperwork alone, much less having each individual student address their accommodations, make sure that the staff knows how to accommodate those students and their needs. It's just not realistic with the number of hours per day. So yeah, we might want to look at sort of getting some more help, and I'll let Mallory speak about them.
Like you said, we've seen a lot of mental health needs still. So we go through the mental health services that we have in school. TSA does not have a therapist on site anymore. She left the company or TSA, and from the last time that we talked to TSA, they all looking to replace it. They just don't have anybody to accommodate that. Our TSA provider is full. Our monitor comes in, she also left the agency, so we lost that person in our building as well. She was both at high school and elementary. Love the journey as being in quite a few students at elementary and a couple here at the high school. He's also, at the end of the year, we may keep a couple of our students, but we do have a full-time therapist at the elementary, and it's and she is full. We have regroup counseling, and then one, we have Joy as a partner with Bridges Health, and they are here full time. They have formally requested another coach and therapist, so we are looking at getting another therapist and coach in our district. We may be sharing that therapist with somebody else. It's another person to provide the services that are needed. And Bridges Health, our students who are eligible for that are Native American students who are affiliated by any tribe, and if they are an employee of last round or services. So it is open to people in our district. As the elementary city patrol has done one student, it's a great job. Has been doing lunch lunches. She's up to 14 different groups throughout the year. Caitlin usually has been going to FES. If we are not doing her back, we are the field somehow, so that is going to be a need at FES next year. The last thing I want to talk about is we have been trying to do some yard and home visits with our families and just trying to make a positive and meeting their families where they're at. We're not with good news and making sure that they need. Any questions?
Thank you, Kat, Katie, and Mallory. Next up is board committees. Does anybody have any they would like to
report on? All right, we're going to keep moving on. Next up is we did have communication, so that should be one. Next up then is budget discussion.
Just an update on spending as we're heading to the end of the school year. Through April 30th, you can see that we've spent about a little bit over 77% of our revised budget that we revised in February. We've completed 83% of the school year. It's not perfect math, and we want to be within 1 or 2% of that. But so we're kind of right on track for our budget, at least for the time of the year. Things that we are working on as we head into June to present the final budget is we are still looking at ordering supplies and getting things ready. Some vendors will let us start doing things before July 1st. That the capital budget was approved. If the vendors want to wait until July 1st, that's fine. The revenue projection is the same as I presented at the work session at the end of April. I have a meeting this week to kind of finish up at least these other fund summaries with food service, community service, and our debt service. And then really we're still waiting on the anything in this final week and finishing up with special ed numbers. So the revenue is not changed a lot in the last 2 weeks. We can kind of see what happens with those other fund summaries, but we'll update you all as we head into the June board meeting. We've put out bids for fuel or dairy garbage bids. Those are due back before the week of May 27th, the actual date. But so I'm hoping to schedule commodities meeting those of you on that committee for the last week of May. I know the 27th is a day off, but hopefully that week so we can have those numbers figured out in time for the June board meeting. You can see where our enrollment is as of May 1st and how it compares to last year. This is pretty similar to what you saw in April. We haven't had a lot of enrollment changes in or out, or at least they're kind of balanced each other's out. Questions on that?
If there's no questions, then we're gonna move on to the 3 policies. The first policy is policy number 902, Hinckley-Finlayson Public Schools Community Use of School Facilities. Number 412, expense reimbursement. And 426, return to work policy. Does anybody have any questions regarding those 3 policies? If not, I'm looking for a motion to approve all 3 policies. There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Next up is the CAVA, please.
I'd like to seek board approval to renew our capabilities. We had quite a bit of discussion on this last year, as well as the year prior to that. The use fee was raised at $700 2 years ago to about half cover the taxes, and the board agreed with this change again in 2023. The taxes for the property are a little over $1,500. My opinion is this is a win-win situation if the property is put to good use by a local business and the district is able to maintain a property for future unknown uses. And the agreement takes up the lease has been in effect as year to year for over a decade. Here for Mr. Kavak, he would like to keep those terms, increase those terms. I did update the dates. I still have last year's dates in there. But I did update the dates to be effective today, and the ends.
How many acres is it?
The total acreage is, I believe it's 46.
What is he?
Yeah.
Does anybody have any other questions? If not, I'm looking for a motion to accept the CAVA lease. There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Next up is J Pride. Is there any additions to J Pride?
No, just the general. Yep.
Next up is graduation data.
I pulled some comparisons to graduation data that the state released this a month ago, as big as possible. The very first column is graduation data from last year, so the class of 2023. The first column, and these categories are called the state breaks, the categories for graduation data. So the first column, highlighted in yellow, is last year's class of 2023. The one next to that is comparing to the year before that, class of 2022. I pulled our neighbors for this first area, and then the very last column, you can see what the average for each category was in the state of Minnesota. So, let's see. I pulled a few notes for in comparison to this top data. It's border districts. These schools are not typically as diverse. Many students in some of these categories as us. We, in this category, of the state average in most areas. We also increased in every area except for students and our Native students. Our Native American graduation rate grew again. Our program is working to get more students graduated. I'm also happy to see the growth of our special education and free and reduced lunch kids. Our programming and interventions for these kids also appear to be working. We are lower than our neighbors, and we are lower than the state average for our white students. We have more students choosing not to get their diploma after high school to attend Pine County Transition Program or Empower. And that reflects in the state does 4-year and 6-year data. That does come back through. I only pulled the 4-year data. We do have students electing either to go to the transition program or finishing up some of the requirements through Power. Any questions from the top before we go to the second? The bottom table, I pulled schools that have similar demographics to us. Certainly, this is not a perfect list. This is the list of what we've historically had, or who we historically with similar demographics to us. And same category as above. It did pull just our percentage of students are Native American and the percentage of students that are qualified. So you can see that as comparisons. Data that I noted in here. Again, pulling schools that have similar demographics, much smaller than us, similar student populations. We compare very favorable to this list. Graduation rate. We compare very well on our Native American graduation rate. And we also compare well on other such as free and reduced and free and reduced education. Continue. We're not satisfied. We're not satisfied. Be 100%. But happy to see overall that that's 2023 increase from what we had seen in 2022, but still a lot of work to do to continue to bring these percentages up.
Is there any questions for Brian regarding the graduation or data? Next up is the committee list. Everybody knows what committees are on. We will either change or move people around at the July meeting. Next up is the SPRED program list.
Recommend approval of the transition program. Our 2020 transition program is our special education program for 18 to 22-year-olds. It is a SPRED program that runs on high school. The board typically approves this lease every year. They use the old high school office space and currently 2 classrooms, 3 classrooms for next year. But that is a very growing program in the student population, and it'll have additional staff next year as well. But recommend the board approves this lease. The terms of this payment in years past, the dollar amount may have changed because we're having a third classroom.
Does anybody have any questions for Brian regarding the SPRED program lease? If not, I'm looking for a motion to approve.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Next up is the superintendent evaluation. We will continue to do the superintendent evaluation like we have in the past, unless somebody wants to email me or call me with suggestions. In years past, we did a Google survey, and it has followed MSBA's guidelines. So that will go out to you guys in the next couple weeks. And then during the July school board meeting, we will go into closed session to discuss the evaluation. Does anybody have any questions right now? All right, next up is proposed handbooks.
Recommending approval of the 24-25 school year and 25-26. The changes are in the proposed handbook and we're go into more specifics like, but generally they received a 4% raise in the first year, a 3.25% raise in the second year, and had we needed to make that insurance correction. So we'll continue to face the problem of being underinsured. But I'll take any questions you have on any of the highlighted areas.
If there's no questions, I'm looking for.
I wondered if we could add the WSI and the fire department to the schedule. So if they're there, the longer they're there, they will increase.
So, Angela, correct me if you're wrong, in our current, it's just listed as pool personnel, including water safety instructors. You can see that basically, no matter how long they've been here, get the same dollar amount each year. Those numbers did increase by that I talked about, and I believe what you're asking is move into one of these ranges down here. So that way, if they're here for these 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, they continue to get raises as they've experienced with the district.
Be a separate column before one.
Do
we have any ECFD paras? Could that column be rearranged?
I
should say that are paid under that.
I don't think we have any ECFD paras this year. We could add another column and put that the dollar range we have, 0 percentage going down.
I guess that would be my motion, is to approve it minus students.
My motion would be to approve it, and the WSI and the
So Angela has an amended motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Bring the water safety stuff to you to see on that part.
Next up are 2 policies for read only. Does anybody have any questions regarding 502, search of student lockers, desks, personal possessions, and student persons? And 531, the Pledge of Allegiance. If there's no questions, we will continue moving on. The next item is recommendation on graduation ceremony.
After consulting with our district attorneys, the recommendation of the school board regarding the graduation ceremony would be that all extracurricular groups not be allowed to perform at graduation, beginning with the class of 24 graduation ceremony and continuing into future years. Some reasons for this: during the graduation ceremony, we would like to avoid disruption of the ceremony with people potentially leaving the ceremony during these presentations, or with people potentially coming down to the gymnasium floor to get a better view. This happened last year when members of the audience came down to the gym floor during graduation to watch the drum perform. We are concerned that this would happen with other extracurricular groups as well, if it were too difficult to see them from the stands. The district has been made aware that many extracurricular groups may ask to be a part of the graduation ceremony, beginning with this year's ceremony. If we continue to open the graduation ceremony as a forum for groups to perform or exhibit their skills, the district does not want to have to be in a position to choose which groups would be allowed to do this. Continuing to open graduation as a forum for extracurricular groups could put the district in a position where it's accused of favoring some extracurricular groups over others, since we may not be able to accommodate all groups requests to be part of graduation. The school district does not want to violate the establishment clause in regards to our graduation ceremony. The school district's attorney has advised me that allowing extracurricular groups to put on spiritual or religious performances during graduation creates legal risk. If members of the community feel the district is endorsing a religious group as part of the graduation ceremony, the district needs to avoid the perception that it's endorsing any religion as part of graduation. And the courts found that violates the establishment clause. We want to be respectful to the parents and the community with how long our graduation ceremony is. And if any additional groups do ask or want to participate, it could extend the ceremony. The purpose of the district's graduation ceremony is to focus on our students' graduation. Opening the ceremony for performances and exhibitions by extracurricular groups takes away from that focus. The district offers extracurricular groups opportunities to showcase their skills in many other forums. Limiting extracurricular groups' participation at graduation, the district can ensure that the focus of the ceremony is on the graduates and not on our extracurricular groups. In regard to the group who did participate last year at graduation, I would like to propose the school board the following. We do recognize that the drum group's activity last year was meaningful to the students involved and to their families. We would like to ensure that the district space and time for the drum group to perform outside of the graduation. This year, to continue that practice for the students and families who find it meaningful, one option, and this is just an option that could be considered, is that immediately after the processional on graduation evening, the drumline will be allowed to perform in the Fine Arts Center. It would certainly be open to any other options that may work. And as I said before, other groups have indicated they may ask to participate at graduation, and any other way to request to put on similar performance in connection with graduation. I'm requesting approval to work with groups to identify an alternative space and time for those groups to perform for their families or other members of the community. Further, I'm asking the school board to develop school board policy regarding graduation ceremony.
Does anybody have any questions regarding the recommendation from the district attorney? If there is no discussion, I am looking for a motion to approve graduation ceremony recommendation as presented. There's a motion. There's a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Just like that?
Next on the agenda is a resolution to accept donation. I'm making a motion to have a 15-minute recess. There's a motion in a second. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Which is resolution to accept donated funds.
I'm looking for permission or approval. Hinckley-Lions, in the amount of $190. They went to the HES tour.
Does anybody have any questions regarding the donated funds? I'm looking for a motion to accept the donated funds. There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Next up on our agenda is the closed session. I am recommending, based on Minnesota Statute 13D.03, to enter into closed session to discuss negotiation strategy. Is there a motion to approve moving into closed session? Is there a second? There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed?